And we are live. Healthy topics. Dr.Aliah, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? I'm so glad to be back. It
I'm
feels like a
doing.
long month.
Yeah, it's pretty long. So, how you been? I see you steady working and grinding.
Yeah, I've been good. We are in process of not potentially, we're launching a new piece of the blueprint coming hopefully December 1, January 1. So working behind the scenes on some new stuff, which would be great.
Nice.
Yeah,
Sounds exciting.
it is for sure. How have you been? Busy.
Yeah, been working hard.
Good, 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 good.
So, what's one thing that you started today off as far as like health?
So today, and I'm gonna kind of jump into it because I know this is kind of where we're going with our topic. So something that I started incorporating. Obviously, there's so much research out there, and if you want to find it, it's out there. But I always try to start my morning with a glass of water. So I know that's kind of the topic we're going into today. So that is how I actually start my morning. Water first, and then I get outside with my pups for a little bit, get some nice, you know, vitamin D outside, whether it's sunning or whether the sun is out or not, just to get outside and get some fresh air. But that is my first start of my morning usually.
Nice. I usually do water and coffee.
Yeah, I love it. How do you take your coffee?
Oat milk.
Oh, nice, nice, nice,
Yeah,
nice. I've tried it a
it's
couple times. It's pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah,
no cream or sugar in it.
perfect. I love that.
So in the morning, like what's some like stretches, like 5 to 10 stretches that is healthy for you to do for your body?
So, again, kind of preparing yourself for your day, depending on what you do for work. I mean, yes, obviously, I'm talking to more my working adult here. If you're sitting a lot, kind of getting out of that sitting position, moving your body in the opposite direction is really good. One thing I have started to look into, just because it's a guided type thing, is some yoga. I'm all for my patients that, get up in the morning, do some yoga routines, moving your body throughout different movements is a great way to start your morning as well. I love some of the different poses too because they also work on balance, which obviously I'm a big component for.
Yeah,
Any type of getting your neck moving, getting your shoulders moving, hips, knees, ankles. I mean, just trying to get out of that, hey, I just slept for 6 to 8 hours position. And a lot of times we all kind of curl up in that fetal position or lay on our stomachs. So anything to get us out of those positions, but also take into consideration, what you're about to go do for your 8 to 10 to 12 hour workday.
nice. And like if your body's like stiff,
Yeah.
neck stiff, back stiff, what's like the first two most important stretches to do?
So I would tell you too, from a stretch standpoint, because it's really hard to kind of move into those static stretches because your body's already telling you, hey, I'm stiff. So I know you and I have talked about this too. I would say even just go for a walk, right? Sometimes that's your best stretch. Get outside, and it doesn't have to be long. Like, I'm not telling people to go for a 3 mile jaunt, but something around the block, get your body moving. And then I would kind of come back into, hey, can I actually bend over and touch my toes? There's researchers out there that say, hey, if you can't touch your toes, you probably shouldn't be leaving your house. There's some, yeah, I know, very intense. But the point is, we need to stay flexible. We need to stay mobile. So your bodies are really ready for anything. So I would say, can I bend over and touch my toes? Is really super, super, probably my biggie is really super important for sure.
So if you can't do that, something's wrong. Gotta fix it.
Something's going on. Now, that's not to be said, everybody is different, every body is different. Some people are more, I would say, hypermobile than others. It's kind of figuring out where that's coming from. Some people are just tighter in general, but that doesn't mean you don't work on it, for sure.
Right. Definitely got to work on that.
Yep.
As far as like food and nutritions, what's some things that you go with? You think's the smartest?
This is a loaded question. So it really depends on where I am as far as, there are times where I'm more really, really heavily into my dieting, focused on what I'm eating. I've tried keto, I've tried intermittent fasting. My late 20s into my early 30s have kind of been rediscovering my own body and what it likes and what it doesn't like. And, I challenge anybody to kind of go do that because, again, everybody is different and how you tolerate different things is going to be dependent on you. I tend to intermittent fast in the morning. So usually it's my water in the morning. If I'm getting my morning workout in, usually I get my pre-workout in, and then I'm kind of jumping into a protein shake afterwards. And then by lunchtime, maybe 1-ish, usually 2 o'clock is my cutoff time of fasting. I tend to start to feel it around then. I'm like, okay, my body needs some actual nutrition in there. Um, then I'm going more, my higher protein, low carb, low fat is kind of where I tend to stay. But again, intermittent fasting doesn't work for everybody. It also doesn't work for people that usually have comorbidities that, hey, I need food, right, to kind of go about my day. So that would be what I do. Again, doesn't mean it works for everyone, but I do like the cleanliness that my body feels before I start putting stuff in.
Right. It's whatever works best for your body. Everybody's body's different.
Yeah, and I also think too, I think like you and I can speak to this, right? It's like it gets rid of that brain foggy too. The second I start putting food in, I'm like, oh, my body feels that. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Start feeling better.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Do you like if you go for a long amount of time without eating,
Yeah.
do you start feeling like shaky or feeling
Oh, yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
crazy?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So my first dabble into fasting was with my husband. And I will tell you, I tried to kind of push that barrier. But with treating patients, and I noticed that I would start to kind of, again, just simple bend my head over because I maybe was stretching a shoulder, and my head goes, whoa, like, what are you? So that's when I was like, okay, I need to find my line of when I need to start putting fuel in my body. Um, you know, I even growing up, I was never a big breakfast eater, so it doesn't really bother me to fast. It's just finding that line of, okay, it's time to eat something.
Yeah. And what are some ways that you know to boost your energy without caffeine?
Oh, that's a good one. I will tell you, exercise, exercise, exercise. Even on your worst days, there are times I got to be honest with you. I mean, I'll be out yesterday. I'm in the gym and I'm like, this is just, I don't want to be here today. But half the battle is show up, do what your body's going to allow you to do. I definitely felt rejuvenated afterwards. Just go in and move your body. Your body's not asking you to go lift the heaviest weight you've ever lifted if it's not a good day in the gym. But go move your body. Maybe it's a simple walk. I always say to my patients, and they laugh at me, I'm like, exercise releases those good juju hormones, right? So it just brings out the good stuff. So without caffeine, I would tell you the thing I would rely on would be exercise for sure.
Right. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Um, what's like simple daily practices for long-term health, do you think?
So I've started really kind of going into this a little bit. So more like mindfulness. I know we were going to touch on this a little bit. Meditation. One of the things that I was struggling with during PT school was stress. And I remember my the PA doc that I was seeing said this to me, and this is like, I'm telling you, years ago, so it stuck with me. He's like, Aaliyah, I want you to try to make your bed without thinking about anything else. And if you start thinking about something else, you need to restart. So it's kind of
Mm,
getting control of your mind and where it wanders. And I think for you and I, we talk about this all the time, like how busy we are, right? But how often do we actually focus on a task that we're doing versus our mind going 50 million different directions. So I think a good practice, right, in the morning, usually it's we're rested, we're ready to go. Some sort of meditation. Again, that can go a lot of different ways for different people, and that's totally okay. But grounding, finding your center before the craziness starts. I think social media is great, obviously. I mean, it connected you and I. But I think starting the day right when you wake up with it sometimes is not the healthiest thing in the world, too. Again, where we're going with the world. Um, so I think taking an hour for yourself before you're like, okay, I'm going to let all these other outside sources in, is something I would say from a longevity standpoint, I think has become super important to me too, of taking some time. You know, other things are, you know, being able to shut your laptop and stop your workday and go be present with your family, you know, outside of the stress of work, I think is becoming more and more important. Again, something I'm still practicing, right? Shut your laptop, go be present. You know, but I think those are really important longevity things, as well as move the thing that is given to you, right? Move your body in all different kinds of ways, even in the uncomfortable ones, because if they're uncomfortable, that means we need to actually work on them more. So I think those would probably be like my biggies. And then obviously watch what you're putting into this thing that moves you around. Um, you know, our food is crazy right now.
Right. Yeah, you gotta have that self time too. That's very
Absolutely.
important.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, how are small daily movements impactful, like for like longevity?
So those small movements are probably the most important, because what happens is if you don't focus on those small movements, um, you're going to start to see them in the bigger movements. And if you just kind of put the effort in for the small ones, you're never really going to see the big ones. Those are going to get farther and farther and farther away. You know, I often tell people, I see people when they're in excruciating pain. I'm like, how long has this been going on? Oh, you know, like 2 years. Maybe if we worked on this 2 years ago, right, we wouldn't be in this big like catastrophe place. So I tell everybody, and kind of just to echo what I just said, if it's hard, right, or it's challenging, or there's a barrier, I actually want you to lean into that. Lean into it. Again, I'm not talking about the people that, hey, something really is like injured, but let's go simple as, hey, I can only turn my neck to here. Well, we really need to be able to turn our neck all the way there, right? So that's why I would say lean into those movements, work on those small movements you're already starting to see are becoming problematic, because they will become the big ones, unfortunately, down the road, usually.
Oh yeah, and the neck is very serious.
Yeah, the neck is so important. I would say the neck, and then I go ankle. I mean, those are your two like opposite ends of the spectrum, but they're really important.
Oh yeah, and the kneecaps are too.
No joke.
Um, how do you feel about like sleep, like better sleep routines for a stronger body and mind?
So people, and when I say people, my patients look at me crazy when I talk about sleep. I do not let someone walk out of my office unless we're talking about sleep. So that's how important I feel about sleep. Um, Sleep is the only time where we are resting, right? Yes, I know we dream and our mind can go, but it's the only time where our body is in full rest mode, which is the only time we really, really, really can heal. So I often have to have this conversation of, hey, we need to figure out how to get you sleeping better, because that's the only way we're going to heal. So sleep to me is, if not number one, it's really close to number one. And that's always a conversation that I'm having with people. It's so, so, so important for so many different things. But again, from my perspective, healing, it is the most important. You know, just getting clarity to kind of tackle the next day. So I'm a big pusher for figuring out how to get people sleeping better.
That's a good one. Definitely got to get some good sleep.
For sure.
And do you feel the power of sunlight and vitamin D helps with your body and mind?
Oh my goodness. So have you, where are you located? I forget. Remind me.
Connecticut.
Okay. Oh, so yeah, we're close. So have we, again, I remember doing this, right? Being in New England and then going down to Florida, right? And I stepped outside and I was like, wow, the sun. There is something to be said about just walking outside to the sun. And we can do it here in Connecticut too. It doesn't always have to be super sunny, but getting outside, again, moving your body, I think it's a great way to start your day. Fresh air. My clinic, and I can speak to this from a personal experience, right? My clinic is downstairs in the basement of a gym. I don't have windows. So let me tell you, when I go upstairs and all I see is windows and vitamin D and get me outside, I think it's good for mind, body, and soul for everyone. Something I just started dabbling in is people dealing with seasonal depression. It's a real thing, and I can understand why. There is something to be said about getting your body outside, getting some natural vitamin D. It just makes you feel better, usually.
Yeah, very important.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
before we go, what's one thing that you suggest to do, whether it's sleep better or go for a walk or stretch more?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with my gut on what I always say, and I'm gonna say sleep is number one. Good sleep starts you off for your day to kind of then go tackle vitamin D to for your nutrition, for your water, for your exercise. If you're not sleeping, it's really hard to kind of tack on all the rest of those that we're asking you to do. So I would tell you, if sleep is part of your puzzle, make it kind of a priority, and the rest kind of seems to follow along for sure.
All right, good one.
Yeah,
Well, I definitely appreciate you for doing this, and
absolutely.
we'll be back for another episode next month.
Perfect. I love being here. Thank you for having me.
All right, take care. Have a good one.
You too.
Peace.
Bye.